Detroit Lions at the Indianapolis Colts Sunday at 1. Lions favored by 7.5. The freshly crowned favorites in the betting markets to win the Super Bowl. The Lions, again, favored by 7.5 here. Over-unders 50.5 per FanDuel. Colts coming off of their nice win against the Jets and Anthony Richardson's return.
Yeah, and we said it like this was almost the first game that Anthony Richardson has played where he's just looked like a normal quarterback from the box score, like not this wild, okay, it was productive, but only on like 30% completion rate or whatever. Just a standard very good game for Richardson. Can he do that 2 times in a row? Can we get another really good game or even just standard good game where it looks normal, there's a couple of big plays in there or whatever? Can he back that up with another performance that looks like that? Because the Lions are, they've now become not just Super Bowl favorites, but they're now being like roundly described as just the best team in football right now, comfortably by everybody. They're saying this is easily the best team in the NFL. And they've been doing that. I mean, Renner pointed out this morning on Twitter, like half their defense has been missing at various points. They've done that with a lot of injuries, particularly, on that side of the ball specifically. But it's not like they've led this charmed existence where everything's gone perfectly for them. They've survived in a way that other teams haven't. They've been banged up as well, and they've still been annihilating teams.
They've just built such incredible depth. Remember when we were there at training camp 2 years ago before the 23 season, and we were like, man, there's a 4-person rotation at linebacker. Like there's a 4-man. The Lions have a 4-man rotation at linebacker for 2 spots with Alex Anzalone and Jack Campbell and Malcolm Rodriguez, and so when they've just built such incredible depth, and that's through picking up DJ Reader and picking up Kevin Zeitler, but also now the 2 highest graded safeties in the NFL, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, and the way they've played in their respective roles, which are different. Kirby Joseph, 7 interceptions this year, always finding the ball. Like other dudes are stepping up. They pick up Carlton Davis this offseason to solve the cornerback spot while also drafting 2, right? I mean, they just have built incredible depth up and down that roster.
Yeah.
And as always, if you're a Lions fan watching this one-off video, which I know you tend to do, go subscribe to Check the Mic. Go check us out every single week.
Obviously, Alex Anzalone breaking his arm is a blow, but they're well stocked to replace that with that linebacker
position.
Depth.
They've got Malcolm Rodriguez to come in and
Zadarius Smith came in last week, looked like he'll be probably their best pass rusher until they get Aiden Hutchinson back, if that happens, for a playoff run. Alim McNeil, in particular, in this game, I think will be really interesting going up against that Colts interior offensive line, which has been a little bit banged up, is not the group necessarily that they would want to have. It's that's the interesting side of the ball, I think. Can they cause Anthony Richardson to have a bad game and really get after them?
Richardson coming off of his second outdoor game of his career, who's outstanding. His best game was an outdoor game back in a dome. Richardson was so good against man and zone last week, but he was making some tight window throws against man coverage.
It was just a genuinely, across the board, very good game from him.
It was. The Lions are going to play a lot of man, and when you play man, you have tighter windows, right? That's what it is. If you're getting separation with your receivers, it's usually a step, and you got to put it in a good spot, or else the pass gets broken up. So I think it's one of those tests for Richardson's accuracy, again, which I thought was outstanding last week against the Jets outside of a couple throws. So I think for every single week for the Lions to lose, I kind of view this the same way. How can a team upset the Chiefs? I like to view the games through that lens. How can a team upset the Lions? And I keep coming back to Goff turning the ball over. They still survived that against the Texans.
Right.
Or Richardson playing a similar game. They put up 28 points against a Jets defense that's not as good as it's been in the past. But again, I think they did make things difficult for him at times last week. But he still made the plays. If he can make those special plays again, maybe they have a chance to keep it close.
Look, the whole point of Anthony Richardson as a concept is that he is uniquely athletically gifted and he can neutralize whatever you do on defense. We saw that against the Jets. There were multiple plays where Richardson just broke tackles and busted his way to the end zone. He can do that against anybody. If there's going to be a play where on defense, your guy, your head coaching candidate, dials it up, right? You've got him neutralized. You've got a linebacker in the open field. He's got him dead to rights. And then Rich just stiff arms him to the ground and scores anyway. Okay, there's nothing I can do to fix that, right? You got out-athleted by Richardson. Similarly, earlier he still owns the greatest throw of anybody this season, right off his back foot, 65 yards in the air into a bucket to Alec Pierce for a touchdown. I mean, if he does that, there's literally nothing you can do about it. It's the cheat code. I neutralize anything you call on defense. So that's how the Colts can potentially do this. Is Richardson needs to have, like, the baseline needs to be high. I.e., like, that was the real thing about last week, is the baseline was way higher than it normally is. So the baseline needs to be high just so the offense moves the ball and is generally productive. And then he needs a few plays like that where he just decides, I'm a better athlete or player than you are capable of being on defense, and that's the difference. Now, that then brings back to what can the Colts defense do against this juggernaut of a Lions offense.
And I think it's going to be tough. I mean, every single week.
For anybody.
Right. It's David Montgomery. It's Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield. Jamison Williams. We've seen his big plays over the last couple weeks. There's just too many weapons, too many options. Amon-Ra St.brown, outstanding out of the slot. He's uncoverable. And, again, I come back to, as long as Goff's not forcing the ball and taking care of business, and he's had so many of those games where he's had 5 games completing 80+% of his passes, where you just have that rhythm in the offense. Like, that's when the Lions are unstoppable.
I mean, just too many ways to win. Like, they've got too many ways to win, and it's coupled with a really good coach and scheme.
And that's the last thing. They're 9-1. I almost gave them the 10th win. They're 9-1 because, other than the Bucs game, the Bucs was that weird game where they kept getting stopped in the red zone and they kind of beat themselves. They don't have many of those games. And that's what's been most impressive about the Lions. They had a couple of those games last year. The Ravens, killed them in the middle of the season. Yeah. They haven't had too many duds under Dan Campbell this year.
The adjusted score probably gave them that game. You can call them undefeated.
The adjusted score hadn't beaten the Bucs. Maybe they had them losing to the Texans, though.
That's true, yeah.
All right, 7.5.
I'm going with the Lions. I mean, they look like I agree. They look like the best team in the NFL.
I'll also take the Lions. I'll tell you, if Anthony Richardson has a big game, though, the hype for him against this
but I think he needs
Super Bowl favorites.
Yes, but I think he needs a big game just to keep it close.
I agree.
Like, if he has anything like his regular game, this could be I don't know.
They hit a lull in the middle too, where they were behind the chains. They have to play.
Like, I don't know how they
game.
I don't know how they keep it to within double digits if he doesn't have a great game.
You and I are taking the Lions. Harry will also take the Lions.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.